Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to be making some gold metallic earrings. This was the first time I was using metallic clay and it was super exciting for me. It really worked very differently. It was a lot more sticky, and as you can see the way I cut it, it's kind of like it folds. It doesn't like stick to the plate as much. So yeah, it was definitely really, in terms of texture, it was very interesting to work with, and definitely it bled through onto my fingers, like you will see when I have my palms facing upward, that the gold metallic definitely came onto my hand. If I were to use this clay again, I would probably be using gloves instead. As you can see here, the stickiness of the clay. Here I'm just cleaning up the in-betweens, the little particles, the cut points. I realized that it was actually faster to cut the sticky metallic clay if I just used the knife instead of like a cutter. And so yeah, here is like where I decided to use the scraps to just create like a design. Like just put like 3 little in-between scraps like on the earring. I kind of liked how it turned out. Here I'm continuing to use the scraps of like just the little dots, and I managed to put them on the corner of the squares and created something. Here I'm trying to flatten it out so that I can create some textured patterns to put onto the thing. One of the reasons, actually, when I started doing this, what I wanted to do was to create like flowers and put it onto the earrings. But as I ended up cutting it and I was making these little circles. When I was making the petals, I was really intrigued or kind of like fascinated by the roundness of the petals itself. I thought it looked really pretty. They were just made like that, like as a cup. And so I was kind of like thinking about how it would be like a golden receptacle. I really like the idea of kind of like having like a golden receptacle, a receptacle meaning that we all need to kind of become like empty channels and hollow ourselves out in a sense so that we can receive. So one of the previous earrings I made was also like in a hollow shaped, and it was called like Listen. And it was kind of trying to like indicate to the person who sees the earrings on the person's ear, to as a reminder to listen to them, to receive them, to kind of accept and almost hollow themselves out so they can hear what the person has to say. So it's almost like the earring a person wears is kind of like an indication for the person who's looking at the person wearing the earrings that they should be listening to them. And so creating all these shapes, like cutting them one at a time, definitely took a lot of time. As you can see here, I decided to stick them one at a time instead of put a whole bunch of glue on the backing of it. I think with each step I became a little better at kind of seeing like what I wanted to do. I think this was also the first earring that I made that I filmed, so this was the first time filming as well. Yeah, it was really exciting. This is one of my favorite earrings that I created, actually. So yeah, here I'm like realizing that, oh, I really like that golden receptacle idea, so I like wanted to make more bigger earrings, and so I tried to cut the pieces up to create more larger pieces. And here I was like finally trying to go back to the original idea of me creating the flowers. And so like all the petals that were there, that I wanted to like piece them like 2 or 3 petals together, putting 2 or 3 petals together to create like a flower, so that you could put the flower as the shape of the receptacles as well. Here is me just continuing to shape out the petals. This definitely took like a lot of time shaping each one of them and putting them, piecing them together. of glue in between the petals to keep it together. Here, I think I was trying to use different ways and methods, speeds to like do that, because to create one flower was taking like a lot of time. So I ended up using like all of the cut up pieces to try to create the flowers and try to do them faster. But it was really one of those processes that you just had to do it one step at a time and do it slowly. After the first earring is really where my energy was starting to dip and go low. But I just really wanted to finish this creation that I originally had in mind. Whereas I felt like the first earring that I made was more like a transition earring. And I was like, I wanted to get to the actual point of creating the earring that I originally intended for cutting up the gold metallic one. But what ended up happening was actually, as I was making this earring, I kind of ran out of metallic gold clay, which you'll see at a certain point. And so yeah, here's me just trying to complete that. Now when I look at it, it probably would have been a really actually gorgeous like earring if it was all just floral. But one of the things that I didn't know with this type of clay was that it rises once you put it in the oven. So actually, had I kept all the flowers on top, it would have all popcorned out and would have completely risen. So if you see on the top left corner, all those little squares that I made, they all ended up actually being like pillows. They kind of like rose in the middle and kind of pinched off at the ends, and they were really cute. I ended up calling them like golden pillows. It's like to remind moms to like rest and restore and regenerate. So I kind of like that idea. But yeah, here's me just continuing to finish off the flowers. As you can see here, the clay is kind of like really dwindling, and the longer I took with it, it was kind of like drying up, and it wasn't like getting back together if I put it, if I rolled it back up. Here is me cutting more little pieces to put onto the flower. As you can see, there was one entire earring made and the other one was only 2 petals, and so I was definitely running low on metallic clay. So I put some clay softener to kind of soften it up. But as you can see, even after rolling it, like it didn't quite get soft and pan out the way I wanted. And so I just tried to finish up all the little cut up points and tried to make petals. And then what I decided to do was to kind of like move it around to see if I put like less flowers on it, maybe it would do it, because I was like, I just didn't have any energy, but also I realized I didn't have enough clay. And so what I ended up doing is to transfer them onto a new square because it kind of left like a mark on the other one. So I created this one. I put like 3 on the corners of it, and it kind of looked like a really beautiful, elegant, like rose bush. And I put like 1 on the top, so it like really almost like looked like a side ponytail, like a messy bun if you were to create one. I gifted this to one of my friends. Ladies, always use your scraps. I was gonna throw the rest of the cut up ones out, but then I realized I could actually use them to make one other shape. And this at this point is like your energy is so low, you're just wanting to like put it in the oven and just like finish it off. But then this was actually one of my favorite earrings to create, like almost like this clove shape. Once I pull it up close, you'll be able to see a little bit of the texture. I would have never thought of this design. So yeah, you can see the different points there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.